Hello, and welcome to our holiday special of the Audio Epics podcast. I'm Domien, at your service.
Mellow greetings. I'm Eileen, still Domien's wife, even after writing a novel together.
It was close. No, we had fun. 2022 was overall a good year, even though it was the start of a financial crisis. And unfortunately, Eileen's grandmother died. But overall, things were brighter than the former 2 years. We did regain a bit of our freedom, and most importantly, we released The Treasure of Boneyard Bay.
And that was an incredible journey also for the both of us. Like Ludlov, we were not alone on this quest. We had a score of patrons to support us on the way.
Yes, we've had our Patreon page for more than a year now. And in that time, I would say we've learned a lot. We made some changes to some of the tiers. We added more exclusive content, right? Like those bloopers we did. We even, Eileen kind of pressured me into it. Published some old stories that I wouldn't have done, but she was right. It was a good call. And of course the lore videos, which are really interesting if you're a fan of Witch Hunter. And merchandise. You can get merchandise if you're a patron.
Mm-hmm. Like mugs and t-shirts and stuff. Unfortunately,
we also saw some patrons go, mostly due to financial reasons, but we gained some new ones too. And overall, our Patreon page has grown, and we cannot thank all of you enough for that. That means we can keep on creating more content faster, and we're getting a tiny step closer to our ultimate goal, which is doing this for a living.
Yes, we realize that this is probably every creator's dream, but if you know that we both had more than a full-time work schedule the past few years, and we created a plus 15-hour dramatized audiobook, nevertheless, imagine what we could do if we didn't have our daytime jobs.
Yes, and as for the sort of experiment we did with the Treasure of Boneyard Bay, where we had an extended version alongside a standard edition, I think that was a success. Lots of you, even some of our patrons, actually decided to listen to the standard edition first, and then listen again to the extended edition. And we thought it was a fair way to monetize this for all of our listeners.
We also distributed discount codes for you. You can find one in the intros and outros of our later chapters, as well as on Discord. We also did some polls on Patreon and on YouTube, and we thought it would be interesting to go over the results of these polls that we did the past year. Yeah,
so some of the polls we did one in June to ask you what your favorite audio epic story was up till that point, because Boneyard Bay hadn't been released yet. Mm-hmm. And in that poll, 9% said The Will of the Woods, 35% voted for The Beast of the Western Wilds, and 56% chose Witch Hunter. So that means Witch Hunter is the clear winner, followed by Beast, and then The Will of the Woods.
Yeah. What would you have answered?
Me personally, I think I would have gone for The Beast.
Yeah?
Out of those three.
I think I would have gone for The Will of the Woods.
Yeah, it was a tough call. It was a tough, for me too. But I think for me, The Beast of the Western Wilds was the one where I felt most like, okay, everything worked out the way I had intended it.
Yeah, I get that.
So
we also did a poll about the launching hour of The Treasure of Boneyard Bay in September. That was a bit of a challenge, since we're from Europe and most of our listeners are US citizens. Plus, we in Belgium all live in the same time zone, but lots of you live in countries with multiple time zones, so that makes it extra challenging.
Yeah, since Belgium is much smaller than the average American state,
Yeah. Even the average American lake, apparently.
So, but in the end, the hour that we picked, the one that we picked intuitively, really, which was still a reasonable hour for us to be online, knowing that, I had to go to work the next day. We kept that, because that's what people voted for. So, we kept posting the episodes every Thursday at the same time. There was one episode, though, that caused a bit of confusion because daylight savings kicked in. But overall, we kind of enjoyed the routine of having those episodes every week on Thursday. I kind of miss it already.
Yeah, and apparently some of our listeners talked about it too. Those Thursday nights will never be the same. They looked forward to the Thursday nights, which is kind of cool.
We'll make sure you'll get your Thursday nights back, people. But it was fun. This was the first time for us that we had a live chat, a live premiere, and we just sat there and kept an eye on the chat and listened alongside, and
it was kind of exciting.
It was kind of cozy, I think. Yeah.
It was. It was also nice to notice that the comments died away whenever something scary or exciting happened in the story, and we are so grateful for all of your warm, supportive comments to the story while we published it. They really gave us that extra boost when we were so tired we'd rather curl up on the couch and watch a movie. We still we felt that spark again to create and to brainstorm about the next story and stuff.
So, in another poll on YouTube, we asked you about your favorite character in The Treasure of Boneyard Bay. Now, when was that? That was around episode 4 or 5, I think.
So, I think it was when we had introduced most of the main characters.
The main journeyers
in the party. Yeah.
And who won that poll? Who was number 1? It was Alvarado, with 52% of the votes, followed by Chappelle at 30% and Federhell, 11%. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see that Federhell made it in the top 3 of the favorite characters.
Yeah, I think they would be my favorite characters too. I think Alvarado's my favorite too, and then Chappelle and Federhell. But
yeah, I really like Gustav Finsterdunkel as well. But I think we left him out of the poll.
Yeah. Some of them there was an option pick another character, and some answered Gustav in the comments. So
right, yes, because I remember people talking about how Gustav is kind of unpredictable and mysterious.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how does he know all this stuff,
and I remember some of the comments on Witch Hunter that said that Gustav was their favorite character and they would love to have him back in another story. So here goes.
Yeah.
He was there. In the next poll we launched, we asked you how you stumbled upon our YouTube channel. Most of you found us through YouTube search, apparently. No less than 80%. Only 3% found us on social media. That didn't really surprise us at all, since I've only started to post on socials in 2022. I think our Instagram had been gathering cobwebs until I blew them away in 2022. So now there are way more posts on social media. We're sure that too will grow. I can't expect that account to thrive one day after its resurrection, but I'm really grateful for the extra listeners who found us on social media.
And 14% of those who voted in this poll found us through some other way that they specified in the comments section. Most of those indicated stumbling upon our channel through search engines or by YouTube recommendations.
We've also reached 5,000 subscribers this year. That was a really big thing for us. Since we started this channel in 2014, when we also started the company Audio Epics, while we mostly worked on educational assignments first and wrote web pages, for example, mainly for construction companies and some commercial voiceovers. By choosing that name, we always hoped this would become our main business activity. So we're both not very business savvy, obviously, but we want to learn in the future, and we are very patient. So we have high hopes that eventually our activities will be more storytelling focused and less commercially focused.
Slow and steady wins the race.
And when talking about this, I think 2022 was a year with a lot of milestones. So we're definitely looking at a bright future, I think.
Yeah, so the result of our poll asking you what we should do when we reached 5,000 subscribers, actually that was really clear. 45% of you wanted us to create a short 5,000 word audiobook. So where is it? We're doing it. We're going to do it, don't worry.
Yeah, we're working on it now.
Yeah.
So
We're working on it.
Yeah.
And 21% was rooting for us to do a storytelling podcast holiday special. And that's what you're listening to right now. And 24% wanted us to do a behind-the-scenes video where we talk a bit about ourselves. Now, part of the 5K special video, which we published last time, was already that. Part of this podcast is kind of like that too. Mm-hmm. And we'll also release, of course, the making of the Treasure of Boneyard Bay. That will probably be early next year.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a lot to say about that too, because it was quite a journey for us.
I'm actually really looking forward to doing that, to sharing with people how it all came to be.
Yeah. We also launched a poll on Patreon, asking our patrons what exclusive content they would like more of. And there were about 3 things that stood out. One was more visual content, and we plan on respecting that in the future. And we already reckoned with that in our episode videos. You might have noticed if you watched on YouTube, because we added visuals of the entire journey in the form of maps and atmospheric illustrations and pictures. A second one was tutorials about sound editing and writing. That is something we are working on too. We especially have a lot of new stuff in store for our creator tier, since we love inspiring others to create too, as creating just makes people happy. So we definitely want to do that. But we want to be mindful that we don't put all of our energy in those tutorials.
Yeah.
Because we have heard from other creators on Patreon that it has stopped them from creating.
Yeah, it became more about teaching than about creating.
So we want to avoid that. Then 3 was exclusive challenges. That's something we would really also like to reserve time for Patreon. Therefore, we are considering adding a new tier, or at least a few changes to the current ones. And then we would regularly, perhaps every other month or perhaps every month, launch a challenge. For example, write this amount of words until the next deadline about this topic, or write a short story in the setting of Ruda or something like that. So that would be nice to have.
Our Patreon keeps evolving, and
with your help, of course, and your suggestions.
And then last but not least, after we released The Treasure of Boneyard Bay, we asked you which story set in the world of Ruda you prefer. And again, 51% is still hooked on Witch Hunter. 34% voted for The Beast of the Western Wilds, and 15% voted for The Treasure of Boneyard Bay. Now, granted, Boneyard Bay had only just been released then, so it may be a bit early to tell.
Yeah, and some actually admitted that they hadn't listened to that one yet, so they voted.
Yeah. I have to admit, I do that too. Like when there's a poll on, like, for example, Goodreads, your best novel of the year. Who reads all of those candidates, right? Nobody. So you just pick, the one that you read and thought was good, and then you say that was the best book of the year. But
True. Or on Twitter when they ask you which of these Christmas movies will you watch tonight, and there's only one that you know.
Yeah.
you will pick that one, obviously. But if I had to vote, I think I would vote for the Treasure of Boneyard Bay because I like the epic scope. I love the world. I love the fact that they have all these different locations that they pass. I love the new characters. The fact that you kind of get to know a little of his inside, like his struggles, his inner world.
I think as a creator, you're inclined to pick your newest as your favorites, I think. But for me, it's definitely the case too. I mean, out of everything we've done, I'm happiest with Treasure of Boneyard Bay. It's the story that I feel completely,
Even though there were a couple of things that we would have done differently afterwards. There are always things that
there's always something, but
it's never perfect.
The thing about the Treasure of Boneyard Bay is, I think that for me at least, it's a story that makes you feel good. It's just it makes you
sad and
it also makes you feel sad.
I think it has all these emotions.
Leaves you with a very satisfied emotional feeling at the end, I think, for me. This sounds strange saying that about something we did ourselves, maybe, but it doesn't always feel that way. It doesn't always feel like it's something that we did.
Yeah, it's true. I think you subconsciously write the thing that you want to read most.
I guess.
You put in there things that you miss in the things you read, or things you would love to read.
Yeah, I think so.
Or hear, for that matter. And actually, we love the fact that there are so many different preferences. And we did make a mental note that many of you prefer a darker tone in the stories. So that's something that we'll probably return.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. I know that Boneyard Bay was a bit lighter in tone than the other Witch Hunter stories.
Sometimes.
But the darkness will certainly not be absent in future installments.
Yeah. Unlike what Lilith said, it's not complete yet.
No. So the darkness is not complete. So, we cannot thank you enough for your wonderfully enthusiastic comments on Treasure of Boneyard Bay. They were really, really encouraging.
They were.
And, we just love it whenever someone says that they enjoyed it, they had a good time with it. We both wanted to release a story that would get our listeners immersed in another world and really feel for the characters. And, well, I guess, judging by the response so far, that's what it did, what the story achieved. And
at least for lots of you, yeah.
And I couldn't be happier about that, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, nothing brings us more joy than to read about your joy between the lines of your comments. That's what we want. We want to entertain. We want people to enjoy the story. That's what we want.
That's what it's all about. And people say things like, like we said earlier, like I look forward to every Thursday evening to listen to it as it comes out. That's just... gives us a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, and it makes us feel connected to you as an audience. That's really nice. Like, we actually know you.
And the most amazing thing for me is whenever someone sends us something creative that they did inspired by what we did.
Oh, absolutely. That's awesome.
We got, like that Witch Hunter illustration by Dragan.
Yeah.
Dragan Ciric, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And then the little demonette figurine that someone had made.
Oh yeah, the demoness miniature.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lots of other illustrations.
And someone who did a short fantasy, short fan audio drama about witch hunters.
Right, and someone that used Witch Hunter in an RPG, a tabletop
right,
RPG.
Right, yeah. So, hearing about that, seeing that... and someone made a map too.
Right, and for the Dutch version of The Will of the Woods, there was a school that did a theme day around it.
Yeah.
Where all the children got dressed up. as
Yeah.
their favorite characters. That was awesome.
Yeah. So things like that. I mean, that's the best compliment you can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the comments section, there are some questions as well. Both Aline and I use the Audio Epics account on YouTube, so either one of us answered those questions directly, or we'll be addressing them in a future podcast. But either way, your questions will not go unanswered.
No.
And if you're listening on another podcast platform, feel free to write a comment on our YouTube channel as well if you have any questions.
Right. If your question is a comment to a comment on YouTube, though, please add at Audio Epics, then you're sure we'll get notified of it. Otherwise, we might miss it.
And of course, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. I feel like I've heard that in a million YouTube videos, that line.
Yeah, we should mention it.
If you want to be notified of any new releases.
Well, that's it for the boring part. We are drinking tea now to warm up, actually.
Yes, I'll pour us a cup.
We made the Silky Touch by Tea Masters again. It's organic white tea with raspberry, ginger and lemon. And I really, 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 really recommend it, as it's my all-time favorite tea now. It even beats the vanilla black tea and the jasmine and sencha green tea. And no, Tea Masters is not a sponsor. Maybe these should become sponsors, though I'm not sure if any of you are actually tea drinkers. But, we're really fond of our cup of tea.
Yeah, it's our cup of tea. We also wanted to talk a bit about, a look back on 2022, especially in terms of entertainment, because, this is an entertainment podcast. So let's talk about our discoveries in the year 2022. Not necessarily any movies, books, or games that came out this year, but more like stuff that we discovered in it. So, what did we discover?
Well, we worked on Boneyard Bay for a big part of the past year, so it's mostly our kids who have discovered things. Like, they discovered the Alan Becker YouTube channel and lots of hamster maze videos. The Alan Becker channel, I don't know if you know it, but he makes movies about these little stick men. And it's kind of
It's got a whole series called Animation versus Minecraft. And it's set within the video game of Minecraft, and the characters are these little stick figurines that walk around in it. But it becomes this whole story.
And it's kind of dream-like or nightmarish. The stories are a bit weird, but kind of fascinating. And I think
an amazing feat of animation and sound editing.
Yeah, right. Because our oldest son, or both of our sons, love it. But our oldest said, "I love this so much because of the sound effects." And I completely agree. These sound effects are awesome. So that's why we love it so much. And then these hamster maze videos, like you got Hamster Adventures and you got Mayor Hamster and Friends.
Oh, and Hamsterious.
Oh yeah, you got lots of those, especially on YouTube. Also on YouTube, we like to keep a watchful eye to what our kids get involved with, because there are some things that are really weird and disturbing that we don't want them to watch.
No, you have to keep a close eye. But the hamster stuff, that's good.
That was
good
pretty
stuff.
Cool and inspiring.
It's amazing to see all the sets that they built for it.
It was amazing. Yeah. Oh no!
Oh dear! It was really something you could sink your teeth into, like a hamster, because it's got teeth.
Oh no!
Anyway, another thing that we discovered together, Eline and I, after we finished Treasure of Boneyard Bay, I might add, we said, okay, now we can relax a bit and enjoy maybe some TV again. We don't watch TV very much.
No, actually, we don't.
We rarely watch shows, but we decided to watch The Office, which we hadn't watched before. The American version of The Office, And then we binged 9 seasons.
Yeah.
In one evening.
No, that's not true. That's totally not. In a couple of months.
Yeah, that's true. It did take us a while, but yeah, we did watch the whole thing. And
maybe we should do a podcast on it. Because, it was kind of fascinating.
Peter, our composer, is also a big fan of The Office, and he told us that there is actually a podcast about The Office with 2 of the actresses, Angela and Pam.
Oh, cool!
And they talk about the episodes, and provide us some behind the scenes information. Anyway, we're probably some of the last people on Earth to discover that show, but we really enjoyed it. We had already watched a couple of episodes of the UK edition. That was I think 20 years ago. But back then, I, for one, was a bit put off by it.
I don't think it was 20 years ago, because we watched it
was
together.
quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was a while back, yeah. Yeah, we couldn't really get into it, because it was so negative.
Yeah, it was. It had a very sort of awkward vibe. Whereas the US version gave us some characters to root for, which made it easier to keep watching. Now, I do have to say that the UK version did have Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah, the actor, Martin Freeman.
Yeah. And as it turns out, Netflix decided to ditch the show, in our country at least, only 2 weeks or so after we watched the last episode. So
yeah.
We were there just in time.
Another discovery in 2022 in terms of movies was Despicable Me. Our kids loved it.
Also not a very recent movie.
No, exactly. Our kids totally loved it, and overall they have great taste, I think. Well, but it was especially I was especially surprised by Horton. I had noticed the posters before, but it was only when Ronan had watched part of it on a playdate with a friend that we watched it at home entirely. It sort of never appealed to me as
before.
Before, because the cover didn't say all that much. It just had an elephant, and I didn't bother to look up what it was about.
Okay, an elephant, okay.
Oh, another elephant movie. Also, we didn't grow up with the Dr. Seuss books as a kid, so I watched it with my kids, and Liam was obviously interested as it had an elephant in it, and he is still obsessed with those. He has been his entire life.
He loves elephants.
Yeah, but the whole story was so imaginative that it stole our hearts, and we all became instant Dr. Seuss fans. Our kids must have watched Horton and the animated Grinch at least 10 times this year. In fact, they watched it today again.
Yeah, but of course it is Christmas time.
Yeah. I also bought a small briefcase with four Dr. Seuss classics, and Ronan really can't stop reading those.
Oh yeah.
He also loves the fact that he can read those books by himself now. So it has The Cat in the Hat, Green Eggs and Ham, which actually has a series.
There's a show now, on Netflix.
A Netflix show, but it's very long, while the book is actually very short.
It's barely got anything to do with the book.
They expanded upon it. It's so much larger than the original book. But they kind of enjoy it. They love the book more. It also has what was it? Another book it had, the Foot Book. And there's a Wocket in My Pocket. And not surprisingly, that last one was his absolute favorite. He's even invented extra chapters, and on his 6th birthday, I bought the same briefcase as a class present, so he can read them in class as well, as soon as he's finished an assignment, and he was really excited about that. And so was the teacher, actually. She didn't know Dr. Seuss before, so...
Yeah, he's kind of a legend in the United States, I think. And over here, he's really not that well known.
I don't think Horton even has a proper translation here in Dutch. I'm not sure.
I've never seen the book version of The Grinch either in Dutch. So yeah, those were some of our discoveries. As for disappointments, I guess we also have to mention the disappointments of 2022. Can't really recall that many. In 2021, I would have said the summer, because it was a very rainy summer then. But 2022 actually had a great summer.
I was thinking, I didn't watch that movie.
No, I meant, the weather. 2022, what disappointed us? Well, I was really looking forward to the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Yeah.
Miniseries events thing on Disney Plus. I had seen the trailer and I thought it looked great. I thought it was cool that they had, Ewan McGregor back and they had Hayden Christensen back. So I was excited about it, and then I watched it and I found myself rather bored throughout most of it. I know, it's sad, but yeah, that's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, you were not alone in that. I thought it was boring.
And the sad part is, especially that when it was all over, I thought, what was the point of this story?
Yeah, but I thought that before I started watching it, because you told me where it was set in the the chronology of the series, and I was wondering what's there to tell. At that point.
I guess I was hoping for something of an introspective, maybe a lot of flashbacks. There was a book about Obi-Wan Kenobi's time in the deserts.
Yeah.
Long before Disney purchased Star Wars. And it was more about other characters doing things, and they occasionally saw or met Obi-Wan, who was more like the mysterious stranger who showed up on Tatooine from time to time.
I can imagine that, yeah. But before I watched, I was wondering, how are they going to pull this off? Because, you have a problem. Either you take a story that's really exciting, but then you would have heard about it in the movies. Mm-hmm. Or you take a story that's completely dull and it's boring, but now they took an exciting story that you wonder about. How is it possible that Leia never mentions having met Obi-Wan?
That's another thing that bothers me, is that now they created a plot hole that didn't need to be there.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden there's this connection between Leia and Obi-Wan, and
still they manage this exciting spoiler alert kidnapping story. They managed to make it dull. It's kind of dull.
Yeah. I'm sad to say. I don't want to thrash it into the ground or anything, but it wasn't what I was hoping for me.
No, actually, I'm really disappointed to come to think of it, because I don't think they respected the character of Obi-Wan that much. At some points in the story, I really felt like he was dumb or doing stupid things, and he was not this wise Jedi.
I think you've got a point there.
So yeah, I guess that was a disappointment in 2022.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to agree. So yeah. What else? What was another disappointment for you before we move on to something more positive?
Maybe some minor disappointments. The kids, they discovered floor is lava. First, the Netflix show, and then they quickly got tired of it. The concept was great, but it was just too much of the same thing. The rooms were recycled, so were the jokes, by the way. And our kids started their own Floor is Lava series at home that caused a bit of collateral damage, actually, furniture and decoration-wise.
That was fun, at least.
Yeah, that was fun, at least. But, I did expect more of that. I was intrigued by the concept. I thought... I was never much of a game show
no, me neither.
Person, but I was kind of intrigued by the concept. It reminded me of those great game shows I used to watch as a child. That were really fun, like Fort Boyard.
Right, yeah.
where
Full of, kind of an adventure feel.
it was
to
a mystery show where where people had to solve puzzles in a castle.
With real contestants.
Yeah.
It's not fiction.
They had to look for keys. I think the final round was when they had to try to take away as much gold as possible before they released lions upon them.
Yeah, I don't think they were ever going to actually release the lions. I don't know.
But it always looked very exciting because there was always this leg that still needed to pull up, and then the lion was getting closer.
Yeah, so I think it was heavily edited and staged, but even though they were real contestants.
And it was shocking what people would do for money.
But it's the same in The Floor is Lava. I think it's also heavily scripted, and because
just
whenever someone trips and falls into the lava, they always get completely submerged into it, and they never come out again. So it's like they actually die. And then afterwards you see them,
They probably made a couple of arrangements, like when you slip. You should
like
let
you
go.
You have to completely submerge into. Yeah.
And they some do a little dance or pull up their hands or do something dramatic. So but that's all very logical. It's just a minor disappointment. I just thought they could have done more with the next seasons. And then a recent disappointment was Home Alone 4.
Now, I guess it's kind of to be expected that Home Alone 4 wasn't going to be the greatest.
Oh yeah, I absolutely expected it, but it was shocking in so many ways. It was not just a dull sequel, it blew my mind.
Yeah, me too. It was really unbelievable how could this get made?
Our kids love Home Alone. They actually reenact the story, especially the part where two Kevins set traps for Marv Mom and Harry Dad. But Home Alone 4, that was a whole different level. If you ask me, it was not even ground level, more like way below ground level.
You have to go spelunking to find it. The thing about Home Alone 4 that sort of blew me away with how awful it was the fact that the movie begins and you see this family that you've never seen in a house that you've never seen, and then the mom says Kevin, and you think, oh, this kid's also called Kevin. Oh, and then later on you find out that you're actually supposed to go along with the idea that this is the same Kevin.
Yeah.
And the same mom and the same dad, even though they all look completely different and they're in a completely different house, but apparently they're the same characters.
Yeah, they even selected really two of his brothers and sisters, and they have the same names. And
then dropped a bunch of siblings.
And he recognizes, or maybe they went to college or something. But even recognizes the criminals.
He recognizes one of them, even though he too is a completely different actor. Not one actor returns. I mean, how hard was it to just use different names? Like they did in Home Alone 3.
Yeah, why do this? And well, Home Alone 3 it wasn't great, but it was decent. At least it made our kids laugh. It was a tiny bit of sadistic entertainment.
It was definitely the most extreme in terms of the traps and the suffering endured by the criminals.
Our son said very often, she should have died, or he should have died.
Yeah, especially when the lawnmower dropped down on that guy's head. That would have been a horror movie, but he just got a haircut.
That woman suffocates in the mud. It was kind of, it was harsh.
It was.
But I guess that's part of the fun, right? They laugh their asses off when they see these burglars, their heads blow up and they get
it's true.
Bullets in their crotches, and
it's a live action cartoon basically. Listeners probably hadn't expected us to talk about Home Alone for this long.
Not me neither.
Oh, and then there was that show, Is It Cake? I haven't seen that personally, but you did, right?
Yeah, that's something they also discovered. Apparently, I haven't watched much of it, but I've noticed that Ronan is very good at spotting where the cake is.
So yeah, what's the point of the show? There are two things, and one of them is a cake, and the other is not.
Yeah.
And you have to guess which one is a cake?
Not two things. There's a couple of things.
Okay.
I think it's about 6 items or so.
Okay.
And for example, it's all purses. One purse is actually a cake. Or they pick an item, they need to make a cake that looks exactly like it. And we think it's often clear, but the jury apparently doesn't. And our sons were also frustrated because apparently it was always the same guy winning or something. I'm not sure, but yeah.
It sounds like we watch a lot of television, but we really don't. In fact, I think our kids prefer to watch movies, right?
Yeah, I mean, they don't really watch television. We don't even have television. We just have Netflix and Disney Plus. But they prefer rewatching movies. They even didn't watch as many PJ Masks episodes in 2024 in 2022 than before, because they were quite obsessed with those.
Yeah.
The last couple of years. We did see the weirdest movie in the theaters. It was called Lyle Lyle Crocodile. And it was a movie about a crocodile that can sing but not talk. Ronan loved it simply because he's obsessed with crocodiles, like his brother is obsessed with elephants. But in the end, he admitted that he liked the crocodile from Disney's The Princess and the Frog better, who was actually the first one to aspire a musical career.
Oh, right, yeah. So it's a recurring theme.
Yeah, it was a weird movie. It was kind of enjoyable. It was weird though. Yeah.
As for what we're looking forward to in 2023, let's handle that topic. Movies. Well, Dune Part 2, of course. Mm-hmm. Can't wait to see that.
Obviously, yeah.
As for the second Avatar movie, that's out already in 2022, but we haven't seen it yet. We want to, but, didn't get around to it yet.
Guess we have to pick a date and arrange a sitter.
Yeah.
Also, I've heard there will be a D&D movie on your dad's birthday. We watched the trailer, remember? And
yeah.
It did, it looked kind of cool. It had all the right ingredients: a teaspoon of Michelle Rodriguez, a pinch of Hugh Grant, and a gelatinous cube for that sweet taste. But I remember that the trailer music was awful. I hope that's not the score of the movie.
Yeah, I do. No, I probably not. But they do that often in trailers. I don't like it.
It's a fantasy movie.
Yeah, but I also kind of felt that the trailer, the vibe that I got from it was, this is like a really
funny movie,
modern day interpretation of D&D.
Oh, okay.
This is not how they would have done D&D back in the 80s.
It's not going to be an immersive.
It's
fantasy
like
movie.
I mean, it's like how most people play D&D today, which is, really jokey and really sort of, kind of ironic. And I loved the Warcraft movie because it didn't do that. It was a straightforward, earnest telling of lore from the Warcraft world. And if they make it too jokey, it almost feels like they're a bit embarrassed of what they're doing. Like they're not really into it.
Do you feel like that's really the tone of D&D compared to other RPG systems?
I think because D&D is by far, and I mean by far, the most popular RPG, that most people, that a lot of people play D&D who aren't really into RPGs. And that's why they will play it in this jokey, it's just for laughs
Oh,
tone,
you mean
even though that's not how D&D was intended.
you mean breaking immersion? And
Yeah, exactly.
Discussing America's Got Talent. along
Yeah,
the way
getting
and
out of character and
checking their tablets.
and also making the most ridiculous characters and making the most ridiculous choices in the plot and
Guilty.
yeah. But you wouldn't really do that in Warhammer Fantasy roleplay, for example.
No, maybe not. I think also it depends on the party you're playing with. I think some people are really into the LARPing aspect, and others are more like doing it for fun, and haven't played a lot of RPGs, so will probably play it more like a board game or something, or approach it like that more.
Yeah, and that's fine too. That's fine too. I mean, I'm not telling anyone how they should play RPGs. Just saying that I like my fantasy to just be good fantasy, and I don't want them to make fun of it. I don't know. Maybe that's the nerd in me.
Oh. But I'm still curious. I like to watch.
Yeah, I'm curious too. I do want to. I did love how all the famous D&D creatures from the Monster Manual. I mean, not all of them, but I recognized many creatures from the Monster Manual in the trailer, like the gelatinous cube, the Beholder, the Displacer Beast.
Yeah, and when you have a gelatinous cube, you can't really take it too seriously.
No. Actually, Onward was a great take on D&D.
Oh, that was awesome. That's my all-time favorite Pixar. I love it.
They had a gelatinous cube.
It was Ronan's first movie in the theater.
Yeah, that was great.
He was obsessed with it. He calls the movie The Dad with Just Legs.
yeah, The Dad with Just Legs. But yeah, I guess you're right about the music. It can really set or kill the mood. Like in the Green Eggs and Ham TV show that our kids have watched a few episodes of.
Yeah, they think it's awful.
Yeah, it's funny. Our kids. I mean, we really don't push them in that direction or anything, but we notice they really do prefer, movie scores and classical music over the latest hits from I don't know. I don't know anything about this about these pop hits.
Me neither.
Like the latest song from
Justin Bieber, is that still a thing?
No, I don't. I don't think he's a thing anymore. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know anything about it.
Auto-tune boys band.
It's kind of embarrassing.
Okay, I think it's time for our Delirious Dilemmas. That's right. That's our lockdown dilemmas, but more fun without the lockdown.
Yeah, we didn't want those types of, crazy podcasts to be associated with the lockdowns anymore. So now we're going for Delirious Dilemmas, and instead of quarantine questions, just crazy questions. And of course, we'll still be drinking tea with that, as usual. But we might open the occasional bottle of red wine as an experiment. Maybe in the future.
Good idea. If it's a good one. We only just got each other's dilemmas, so we didn't really have time to prepare. Guess we'll see where this goes. I'll start off immediately with Dominine's dilemmas. You have them right here. Domine, hit me.
Bam! Okay, here's my dilemma for you.
Okay.
Time for you to get dilemmatized.
And delirialized.
Okay. Would you rather be world famous and rich for your novels, but also have the internet full of people criticizing you, calling you overrated, constantly pushing you to write your next book faster, and bothering you on the street, or
B.
Be reasonably successful, just enough to live a reasonably comfortable life of writing, and have a small devoted following of cool fans.
Yeah, B.
Now that saying it. It's hardly a dilemma.
So where's the dilemma?
It's not a dilemma. I mean, it's just in the the first scenario, you really are super rich. Like you've got your own castle and a giant domain surrounding it. If you want your own yachts, your own cruise ship, your own private jumbo jets. I don't know. J.K. Rowling times 10.
My very own billion of haters on Twitter.
Yeah, like J.K. Rowling times 10.
No thanks. Reasonably successful sounds pretty cool. If I could just do what I love for a living, that's awesome. Who would want more than that?
You passed the test.
Can I keep my soul now?
I guess I made it too easy. Okay, it's your turn.
Okay, which new Star Wars movie would you want to watch? The Phantom of the Death Star, directed by Andrew Lloyd Webber. The Lord of the Lightsabers, directed by Peter Jackson.
Well, neither of them is directed by J.J. Abrams, so that's a plus.
That poor man.
I know we've been a bit hard on him.
Stop hanging up on me.
He's done good things too. He's made good movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess, let's just forget about the whole Star Wars sequels stuff. The Phantom of the Death Star is there. Yeah. That sounds kind of cool. A musical. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somehow I get back to Star Wars musical all the time. Maybe.
Darth Vader, he has a mask too, just like the Phantom. And...
Yeah, now that you mention it.
But the Lord of the Lightsabers, that's also interesting because I can imagine a plot line for that a bit, you know?
Yeah, like who's the Lord of the Lightsabers?
I mean, the musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, I mean, it's kind of a joke, right? It's not a real Star Wars movie.
I don't know. Star Wars is...
Whereas...
It's pretty funny. So.
Lord of the Lightsabers could be a real Star Wars movie.
And some musicals are really serious.
Sure, but Star Wars is not a musical.
Like the 8th musical from Team America, that was that serious.
No, I mean, I imagine that the Lord of the Lightsabers is like this ancient character who's hiding in a forgotten star system somewhere. And he's like the first Jedi who ever made a lightsaber, and they have to find him because only he can teach them how to make the ultimate lightsaber or something. I don't know. I mean, it's just a stupid thing I came up with, but I don't know. It sounds like it could be.
If it's still Disney, it's probably I know.
But it says here directed by Peter Jackson. So.
Yeah. For Disney then.
Yeah, I mean it should be written by Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
And then it can be directed by Peter Jackson or by Jon Favreau.
Otherwise, the Lord of the Lightsabers will probably turn out to be Chewbacca, who traveled back in time and then actually was a Jedi at some point, and his grandmother was actually Leia's best friend, things like that.
Okay, I choose that one.
You chose wisely.
Okay, I have a dilemma for you. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's not really a dilemma. It's more like a tetralemma, because you have to choose between 4 things.
Oh, that's cheating. Yeah. Cheater.
If the world would forever remain in a particular past decade, which one would you pick? The 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, or the 2010s?
So, do you actually mean that we would take our family and then travel back in time and then live there? Something like that?
Yes, and at the end of the decade, it just reverts back to the beginning of the decade for the rest of your life.
So I wouldn't have to travel back to my poor, pathetic teenage years. And
No. It's you. You are still you. Okay. You remain an adult with your own family. But it's like world history and technology and fashion and music, all of that. remains in that decade?
Oh, I think all of those decades have kind of their pros and cons, obviously.
Yeah.
80s and 90s are most nostalgic. Because, childhood and everything. But you tend to remember the good things about your childhood, right? Maybe I'd go for the 2000s, as it's kind of a middle road. It had great movies. It had some good music. It had Oh, and the Lord of the Rings were released then, right?
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have The Hobbit yet.
No. But, I mean, the 2000s were an amazing decade for movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and a pretty good decade for video games, too. No Skyrim yet.
Ah.
But Oblivion and Morrowind came out in the 2000s.
Can I still change my mind?
To the 2010s? So you can have Skyrim.
Or just, stick to this decade.
Yeah, but then without all the COVID stuff.
Yeah. Let's just cut that out.
Okay.
But it's a hard one. If I have to pick one, I think I would go for the 2000s or the 2010s. I really like having access to everything on the internet and having fast internet. If I would go back to the 90s, I'd probably be frustrated all the time because my internet is so slow.
It was pretty slow back then. That's true. I'm a bit wary about technological progress, like smartphones and AI and all that stuff. Kind of, I don't know. It gives me a sort of ominous feeling. I want to go back already. I think smartphones are too far already.
That's why you have a dumb phone, probably.
Yeah, smartphones are a terrible invention, I think. They destroy your creativity. They destroy your ability to focus. No.
Well, it does cause a lot of distraction all the time. That's true.
I mean, there are good things about them, of course. It's very handy to have like a great camera and a phone.
Yeah.
And you can listen to music and podcasts and sure, all in one device. That's great, but then it became too much.
It's both, it's really both. It's great to be able to take photographs all the time that are really good of everything that you want. And it's awful at the same time because you miss so much.
Yeah, it's true.
On the other hand, it's great to have the internet in the palm of your hand. And on the other hand, it's awful.
For a personal anecdote, I still had my iPhone when Ronan was a little baby, and I was always filming him and always taking pictures. And after a while, it started to feel a bit bad because I felt like I was always looking at my son through a lens, through a screen. Right. And now I carry a dumb phone. And, like we're on a walk and we're in the park and the kids are doing something cute or we see a nice landscape and I can't really shoot it or take a picture. And at first it's kind of jarring, but actually now it feels good to me to just be in the moment and just take a mental picture and it feels much more human. It feels much better.
I guess.
I'm kind of a Luddite, so
I'm still too much obsessed with taking pictures of everything. But after that, you just collect them on your computer, and you rarely watch them again. You rarely look at them again. You collect them, you put them in folders, you organize them, and then
the middle road is hard to find because it's also nice to have these keepsakes of precious memories.
It is.
But I guess, yeah.
There's actually a lot of people returning to photo albums. They are
I can
having
see why.
their best pictures printed out in these hardback photo albums, and they're really great.
There's a reason why people are returning to a lot of older forms of, like returning to record players and things like that. I completely understand. I mean, I'm not going to start a vinyl record collection, but I completely understand why people do that.
We still have CDs
Yeah, we do.
and DVDs. And
Oh yeah,
Blu-rays.
yeah. We are actually still growing our Blu-ray collection. Okay, anyway, it's time for you to dilematize me.
Okay. Pick and pitch the title of your next audio drama. Choose from The Will of the Worms, set in the Infinite Woods, or
Okay.
B. The Terror of Beer Belly Barn, set in Ruda.
Ah, so it's a witch hunter tale.
Yeah.
The Terror of Beer Belly Barn, which the title is like like the Beast of the Western Wilds, or like the Treasure of Boneyard Bay.
Wow.
So
you think I did? You think I did that
Yeah,
on
you did
purpose?
that well. It's a real witch hunter title. Okay, The Will of the Worms sounds like a horror story. I think sounds like something really dark. Something about I don't know. Sounds like some very intellectual, artistic horror story about the inevitability of death. The will of the worms.
It's not the wrath of the worms. That would be more cool.
Whereas the Terror of Beer Belly Barn, I can imagine that as okay. So I imagine that Beer Belly Barn is like an inn somewhere, a lonely inn, somewhere in the witch hunter setting, and Ludlov is a guest there, and then he notices some other guests who are doing strange and conspicuous things.
Oh, like some of the side quests in Skyrim.
Yeah, and then he follows them around, and and maybe then there's like some supernatural stuff going on.
Oh, and maybe Gustav is involved too, because there's booze and
Right. Yeah.
gossip around. So
Actually, I want to write this now. The Terror of Beer Belly Barn.
see, all you need is a title.
I really like it.
Okay, hit me with your next one.
Okay, here's my question for you. The ultimate dilemma. Would you rather play Skyrim for a living
A.
by doing a popular YouTube channel about it, or be a professional ice cream taster in a Häagen-Dazs factory? You make the same amount of money.
Come on, you're making this too easy. A. So I can be I can play Skyrim for a living. Or I can become really, really fat.
But you don't have to eat all the ice cream. You can just taste it.
Oh, that's just torture. And I imagine that after a while it's gonna be like when you step into a perfumery and you wanna smell a new perfume, and then you try out a new one, and then you try out another one, and then the smells just start to blend, and you're like, oh, which one was which? And
But they
is this
hire
the real...
these people who have the ability to keep distinguishing smells even after smelling many different ones. And you're one of those people who can keep on tasting distinguished tastes even after,
Yeah, I have a really sharp sense of smell. That's true. I could spot subtle tastes in ice cream, but I wouldn't want to do it for a living.
Okay, so no Ice Cream Dale for you. Just
No.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd pick that one too, to be honest.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. You get a third child. It's a healthy baby. Would you rather be the father of another son who looks exactly like Goel from the Warcraft movie, or a baby girl who's a tiny Navi, tail and all? Both will be normal pregnancies and births.
So basically, it's a green boy baby or a blue girl baby.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. So Liam would probably pick the blue girl, and Ronan would pick the green boy.
I mean,
That's That's
I
their favorite
remember
colors.
the final scene from that Warcraft movie with the baby orc in the basket on the river, the Moses orc.
Yeah.
And the final shot was that he sort of roared at the camera. It was kind of cute. But I also remember the scene from Avatar, the first one,
Yeah, I know
with
which one you mean.
where they have to flee the tree after it was torn down, and then you see a mother Navi carrying a baby Navi, and you see this tiny cute little blue butt of the baby with this tiny tail,
Yeah.
and it's just so cute.
It was really cute.
I think I'd pick that one.
I think Liam would be thrilled to have a blue baby sister.
No, I don't know how that's gonna happen, unless you're gonna cheat on me with Jake Sully or something. But next question: would you rather be able to live without ever having to sleep, or be able to turn yourself into a flying fairy like Tinkerbell whenever you want?
Ah, that's a hard one. Oh, it would be great to live a life without ever having to sleep. I can still sleep, right? I just don't need sleep anymore.
You can if you want to, yeah.
I guess,
You don't. You just don't have to.
Sleeping is nice from time to time.
If you're bored, you can sleep.
I'm never bored. So hey, I would have a double life, but then, like literally, more life.
Yeah,
Double the life. Oh,
double the amount of life.
That's awesome. That's pretty awesome. But being able to turn yourself into a flying fairy like Tinkerbell whenever you want, that's pretty awesome too. But I think I'd be tempted to use that to spy on people or something. So, probably not the best choice soul-wise. And
I was thinking if you're a tiny little fairy, you could fly to a theme park and just sit on all the rides without anyone noticing.
yeah, okay, I guess that would be pretty cool. But imagine what I could do with all the extra time I would have if I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
However, I don't really sleep that many hours now, so...
Yeah, but you're tired because you
make a
don't
big
sleep enough.
difference. Yeah, that's
You would not be tired. You would just
never.
be
Oh.
perfectly fine without sleep.
And our boys are pretty rough, so if I were a fairy now and then, I would probably get smashed by them,
Yeah, you
One
might. Yeah,
way or another.
you might get smacked against the
Yeah.
window.
I think I'd go for the extra hours of creating awesome audio epic stories.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, a Christmas curse hits you because you didn't donate enough to our local church. And you can
Sounds like
pick
a movie.
one option. From now on, you have to go through life looking like a bald Keanu Reeves. Or you have a huge amount of brown, bushy pubic hair on your scalp, but your face looks exactly like that of Viggo Mortensen.
Right.
So it's basically bald Keanu versus pubic Mortensen.
And is that Viggo Mortensen now or Viggo Mortensen back when he was playing Aragorn?
Let's say it's in his glory days. So, or let's say he's exactly the age that you are now.
I think he was my age when he played Aragorn.
Really? Didn't show.
I think I've seen Keanu Reeves bald when he played the role of Buddha in the movie Little Buddha. Yeah, he could pull it off.
True.
Whereas Viggo Mortensen, yeah, he's a good-looking guy, but with pubic hair on his head, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be messy, curly.
Yeah, it reminds me of this movie which we recently saw. The movie The Holiday with Kate Winslet, and in that movie, she's in love with this guy who is like a total jerk, and he's got curly hair, and we always refer to him as Pubic Head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a kind of the ass of the story.
Yeah. I think that's where you got the idea.
Pubic
because we
hair
saw
guy.
it recently.
Probably, yeah. I wasn't aware of it, but I'm pretty sure that's where the idea came from.
Okay, I have a very important question for you.
Okay, let's have it.
It's a very important dilemma which you have to answer. You have to
Okay.
have a parrot on your shoulder. A parrot on your shoulder.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
You have to have a parrot on your shoulder.
Yes.
That yells insulting but painfully accurate remarks at everyone whenever you leave the house. Or you have to have a quiet but really filthy looking rat that's always on top of your head all day long, even in the shower and in bed. Pick one.
Can I have both? No, I would definitely go for the parrot. I think it's so piratey and
Arr.
okay, he yells insulting and painfully accurate remarks at everyone.
Yeah, it's like they're like these.
Like everyone.
He knows. The parrot is like he knows exactly what to say to make you feel
So
bad.
whether you meet the local butcher or the Pope, it
doesn't matter who it is.
Equally insulting to everyone.
Yeah, and he knows everyone's intimate secrets and says exactly the right thing to make them feel really embarrassed or
that could be really
sad.
interesting.
Just it's really really awful.
I'll never be bored in my entire life. Whereas a filthy-looking rat,
Yeah.
even in the shower, then what's the point of showering anymore? And in bed? Well,
Yeah.
that's fun for you. Have fun with that.
Yeah, but it's your choice,
You
not
know,
my choice.
But you know, the parrot will probably insult you all the time.
Yeah.
So you might get defensive all the time.
Yeah. I'll probably. No, that's not true. You're the stupid one, stupid parrot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the parrot. You know, because you said it yells insulting remarks whenever I leave the house, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I can always stay home if I don't feel like having my parrot insult people.
Right.
That's
Yeah, I guess that's an option.
pretty much what I do now. So
Without the parrot.
yeah.
Okay, your turn.
Short question. Would you rather live in a monarchy under King Bob? So King Bob from the Minions.
Aha.
Or King Solomon, as in Dick Solomon.
Okay. Dick Solomon from Third Rock from the Sun. I'd pick King Bob, I think. Because King Bob is... All he does is he just, mumbles some incomprehensible nonsense into a microphone. Doesn't really change much in terms of laws or anything.
He has powerful speeches, you mean?
Whereas Dick Solomon, might actually come up with these crazy new laws that he insists everyone has to follow all of a sudden.
Like you have to wear your underpants inside out or something.
Yeah, because, he gets these weird kicks sometimes. So, yeah, I think I actually feel more at peace with King Bob as my ruler.
Yeah, I guess the minion would be the safe choice.
Yeah. That was the last one?
Yeah, it was.
So, okay, that was it for our Delirious Dilemmas. We'll see you next week in... or is there more?
Oh yeah, I'm really starting to feel delirious after these questions. I think we have done better in the past, but yeah, if you think you can do better, send us your questions in the comments, and if you receive enough of them, we can actually answer them in a podcast. So, and you get extra points for being ridiculous and absurd.
Of course.
Always fun to deal with. But, we have, you have some questions left.
Yes. Now, since it is our holiday special, we've also prepared a number of crazy questions for each other that we're each going to answer. So here goes! Hit me, baby, one more time.
This time we're going to read each other's questions.
Okay.
So we haven't seen them before.
Right.
We will take turns again. And here are mine. You start, Louis.
Okay, your first question. I haven't read it before. Pick a movie director to play the part of a character from any of the stories set in Ruda so far. Okay, so I have to pick a director to play a character.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, that's original. I guess... So I'd pick a director who's also an actor, obviously.
You could do that. And you can pick any
who is a director who is
character.
also an actor. There's Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood. Could he maybe play a character? He kind of looks like a witch hunter. But he's very old now. Does it have to be Clint Eastwood now, or could it be Clint Eastwood like when he was a bit younger?
Let's say it has to be Clint Eastwood now. So
Okay.
all the directors, the age that they are now. Okay, there's Botox and there's makeup, but there are
M. Night
limits.
Shyamalan does some acting. There's Mel Gibson, of course. I guess I could cast him in a witch hunter movie.
He's a great actor, yeah.
Yeah. But what part would I give him? I don't know. This is a really tough one.
It is a tough
Maybe I
one.
could pick Barbara Streisand to play Lady Hoskins.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick that one.
Didn't see that coming, but
No,
okay.
me neither. That just came to me all of a sudden.
Okay. Okay, nice.
I have another question for you.
Yeah, okay. So I have it here. You get to make up your own language, which sounds completely different from any existing one you know. In your new language, how do you say "Good morning, I love you, and get out of my face"? Your breath smells like rotten potatoes. What? Okay.
So, good morning is...
Grit morjat. Okay, what was the next one?
I love you.
Ilchasvira.
Oh, that's a tough one to remember. Ilchasvira.
That's not what I said.
And get out of my face, your breath smells like rotten potatoes.
If this were a comedy, I'd probably say or something.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting. Yeah. What's the name of your language? What's it called?
It is called Gesvre
And where do they speak this?
in
And who are the people who speak it?
Hortas.
Ah, okay. Okay, fine. I'm gonna stop asking questions now. Next question. You are to write and direct an existing Christmas movie horror adaptation. What would be the title? The title would be Home Alone.
That's lame.
No.
You should pick something
Yeah.
cool, like
Okay.
Oh,
Nightmare on
Christmas
34th Street.
what?
Nightmare on 34th Street?
Okay.
Or is that lame too?
No, that's
Instead
fine.
of Miracle on 34th Street?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I could pick Miracle on Elm Street, but that doesn't really work. Nightmare on 34th Street.
Okay.
And I guess, yeah, it's like an evil Santa and everything. With sharp teeth. And he bites that little girl's head off. What's her name? Matilda, he bites her head off.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
Because she sings, "Oh, Christmas creep, oh, Christmas creep."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be a rousing success, this movie.
Wow. It's gonna be more successful than, what was that movie called? With the evil Santa.
Sint? That's a Dutch movie.
No. I meant the evil Santa.
Oh, Krampus.
Yeah, that one.
Right, yeah. That was kind of cool.
Okay.
Your turn.
Next one. You are alone on a spaceship with a slimy, eyeless alien that has an extra mouth inside of its mouth. Sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm.
You have no weapons, only an electric toothbrush, some rope, a bottle of strong whiskey, and a deck of cards. How are you going to defeat the alien? Wow, okay.
As I was writing it, I was thinking, I am so happy I don't have to answer that question.
Someone should hire you to write the script of these silly point-and-click adventures.
Yeah.
Because it really sounds like a challenge in one of those. So a spaceship with a slimy eyeless alien that has an extra mouth inside of its mouth. Ugh. An electric toothbrush, some rope, a bottle of strong whiskey, and a deck of cards. And I have to answer this on the spot. Okay.
You know what I could do? I'll give you the time to think about it.
So I start with tying the rope to my electric toothbrush.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what it's good for.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on and I put the toothbrush in the whiskey because everyone knows that double-mouthed aliens love whiskey.
They sure do.
So I dangle it in front of the alien like kind of a fishing rod.
Okay, yeah.
And as it eats the toothbrush with the whiskey, that toothbrush that is vibrating,
it throws
tickles
a card at it.
It tickles the throat inside of the throat of the alien, and it starts coughing really hard. And when the mouth is really open, I flip in all the cards one by one.
Okay.
And then I pour half of the whiskey bottle inside. I smash the rest of the... Maybe I drink the other half to gather some strength.
Yeah, and courage.
Yeah, and courage. And then I smash the empty bottle. And then I stick the smashed bottle in the mouth inside of its brain. And then I wiggle it a bit so that green blood pours out and
I want to see that
creature
movie.
dies.
That sounds really epic. Yeah, no, great. Really good thinking. Great solution. Wow. Well done. Okay, my next question. You can build a strong house in any game location you want to spend your weekends and holidays. Where would you build it? Okay, so I get to build a house inside of a game.
Yeah.
Where I can spend my holidays.
Yeah. So a game location. Anywhere in any game.
Okay, so does it have to be a place where there already is a house?
No. You can build a house in the middle of the woods somewhere, if you like.
Okay. Oh. This is tough.
Tough because there are many great locations you think of?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking of, like, in Lord of the Rings Online. You've got all these nice places like Rivendell or the Grey Havens or something. Lovely place. Or the Shire. And then there's Skyrim, of course. Also, and there already are a bunch of great houses. Actually, I know this sounds kind of boring and predictable, but I think, with the anniversary edition, you get the Tundra Homestead, which my character has as a house, and I really like it there, and I just like to live there, I think. Just pick that house.
Okay.
The Tundra Homestead.
But you have to build it. So.
But I have to build it.
Yeah, you have to build it.
But it's already that you can just buy it.
Let's say you get help from friends. So you don't have to do it by yourself.
Yeah.
And of course, there's the wilderness. When you open your door, could be a bear out there or a saber cat.
Yeah, but see, that's a nice thing about the Tundra Homestead. It's close enough to Whiterun that you're not really that much at risk from beasties, unlike some of the other houses.
Okay.
I know it's kind of a boring answer. But,
I had no idea. I was kind of expecting you to pick Skyrim, but you could have picked any location in the Lord of the Rings Online, or maybe that other game crossed my mind that you played.
Oblivion?
No, that you think looked so great.
Kingdoms of Amalur?
Yeah, Kingdoms of Amalur.
Yeah, there are some nice locations there too. Yeah.
Or Fallout.
Nah, if I can pick a place to actually live or go on holiday, I wouldn't pick post-apocalyptic Boston. No.
It's gonna be easier to build, though.
Yeah, maybe.
It's gonna be, yeah.
Or Guild Wars. I like what's it called? Where the Norns live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's really nice. I might pick that one.
Or where the Sylvari live.
Oh, yeah. In a treehouse.
Yeah, we can build a treehouse.
Yeah, let's do that one. Just to not pick Skyrim for a change.
Oh, you can pick Skyrim.
It's so predictable. I'm always gonna pick Skyrim. It's so,
Well, if you got a holiday house in Skyrim, I will join you for the weekend, definitely.
Yeah, it would be nice by the fireplace, nice and cozy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, screw it, let's pick Skyrim, it's just the best.
Kids are gonna love it.
Okay, your turn.
So, you are a sorceress with the ability to summon a magical familiar. What kind of creature would it be, and what does it do? Wow, that's another question with unlimited options.
Mm-hmm. But it has to be something you would expect from a witch or a wizard.
Okay.
I mean, don't say a poodle or something.
No,
it's just stupid.
Can it be a dragon?
Sure, like one of those cute tiny dragons on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love a dragon.
But it has to be a small one. Because it's a familiar. It's not like something you can ride.
Yeah. I understand, but it's not like it has to be an existing animal or something. Like a rabbit. No. A bunny rabbit. No. Evil bunny rabbit. No.
From outer space.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Having a little tiny dragon on your shoulder.
Yeah. I think it would be a kind of tough-looking, purple, shiny-scaled little dragon. What would it do? I guess it would breathe fire and squeak.
Squeak. Squeak. Okay.
And it would be very intelligent. It would scout the environment and spy on evil people and
actually that's exactly like Phantus in the book Magician by Raymond Feist.
Really?
Yeah. There's the wizard has a little tiny dragon called Phantus.
That's still on my to-do read list.
Yeah.
So I should read it. It sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that part. Your next question for me is: your sons want you to write a bawdy YouTube hit song parody about any of their favorite movie characters, like the Elsa with diarrhea one. Yeah, so for context, our kids watched a clip on YouTube of Elsa from Frozen singing a song about diarrhea. It was in Flemish, and they keep singing it.
Yeah, they stopped watching it ages ago, but they will.
They keep singing the diarrhea song.
Yeah, and now
But they're really in that phase when it's all about poo and pee pee.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Every new person they meet, they will just start talking about
farting.
Yeah. So that's actually it's a realistic scenario. They would actually ask you if you said I'm gonna write a song, they would say, "Oh, Daddy, do a poo poo caca song."
What would be the title, and what original song would you soil?
Sorry, it's childish.
This is fun, but I can't think of anything. For some reason, I'm thinking of "I'm Walking on Sunshine." But
is that from a movie?
Does it have to be from a movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about a movie character that they like. And
okay.
So, like, it doesn't have to be Disney. It can be another.
Okay.
Can it be another movie?
Okay.
Oh, there are a lot of songs springing to my mind. Oh, I think I'm gonna do a complete parody CD.
I can't think of any. I'm under pressure. You pick one.
That's what you need, you know. Any song with pressure is okay.
It has to be about poo-poo.
I always thought "Let It Go" would only need minimal changes when it comes to the text.
Let it go, let it go.
No,
and then it ends with "The smell doesn't bother me anyway."
Yeah, something
because
like
it's about farts.
It's probably something that exists already, but you know, you could do anything like "Reflection" from Mulan, or
But I didn't know it had to be a Disney movie.
Oh, it doesn't have to be a Disney movie. It can be another.
Maybe "The Nightmare Before Christmas." What's this? What's this? There's brown things on the floor.
Okay. Yeah, they would love that. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, we apologize.
Very
for this
mature.
Immature. This immature question.
The smells of turds and pee-pees absolutely everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you always wanted to learn to sing like Danny Elfman, so here's your chance.
Here's my chance, yeah. Your turn.
Now for something really, really, really mature. Very mature. And dark and gritty and adult and stuff. It's the Christmas holidays, and you get to go on vacation for 2 weeks. Describe the perfect holiday for you. The only catch is, it's you and Chewbacca. And he's in a grumpy mood, because he's lost at holographic chess to R2-D2. Is he ever in a good mood?
I know, I'd like to see Chewbacca smile. That would be
creepy.
Different.
Totally creepy. Yeah. I want to see him smile. Like,
yeah.
Like the cow from La Vache qui rit. Okay, so I get to go on vacation for 2 weeks with Chewbacca. That's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to cheer him up.
The perfect holiday for
Or leave him alone.
The perfect holiday for me.
With Chewbacca.
I think it would be a holiday where we can kind of go our own business.
Yeah, you probably should. Yeah.
I should probably book a hotel, not do a journey or something, like an adventurous road trip with Chewbacca next to me. Nah, you need steel muscles for that.
Thing is, are you going to a warm climate or more to the snow?
Oh, I'll go to a warm climate. And since he's so fuzzy, he won't get out much. So...
Yeah, I can't really sunbathe.
No.
Not gonna get a tan underneath all that
I hope
fur.
I don't have to apply his sun cream. That's disgusting.
I don't... It's basically like lathering him with.
Yeah. Well, I'd go to a nice sunny place. I can go to Florida, and then just drop him in one of the roller coasters in Disney World, and then say, "Have fun, Chewie."
Yeah. That's an option.
I could go to a beach. He'd probably hate that because he will be full of sand and all sticky and. Yeah, maybe.
But it's Chewbacca. It's not Anakin Skywalker.
No.
Because because you mentioned sand. Yeah, and it would be like, I hate sand.
Yeah, okay, but I can imagine Chewbacca hating sand.
Also,
it gets everywhere. And his hair probably gets everywhere too.
Especially if you've also applied the sun cream.
Yeah.
He's gonna look real nice.
It's gonna be one sticky mess like the burglar from Home Alone.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I would pick a beach holiday.
A beach on the beach with Chewbacca.
Yeah, on the beach with Chewbacca somewhere. I don't know, maybe Malta or something. Or I always wanted to return to Malta. I love that little island.
Okay. Well, let me know how it was.
Yeah, I'll send you a postcard.
You have one more question for me.
Yes.
You have the magical ability of wearing and making your spouse and children wear any outfit you imagine. Describe what we would look like on New Year's Eve. Well, I'd want us to all... It's a cool question, by the way. I'd want us to all match, fit together. So something like the Justice League.
Okay, so
and I would be Batman.
Describe fabrics, colors,
and
everything.
You would be Wonder Woman. And one of our kids would have to be the Flash, and the other one would have to be Superman.
Really? You just pick existing costumes? You can go nuts, you can create whatever you like.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that.
You're such a lazy creator.
No, I didn't know that. Okay, so I can all right, okay. I can really imagine anything.
Anything.
Okay, now I forget about all that stupid superhero crap. I don't even like it that much anyway. No, let's go for something really, really cool. So I'd want us to look like a royal family from some kind of fantasy setting. Mm-hmm. So I would be the king and you would be the queen and they would be our two little princes. So I want to have both armor as well as this massive cloak with fur. So like maybe I'd have like golden armor with
like Ulfric Stormcloak fur. Or...
Yeah, like I would wear golden armor with shoulder pads, but also with a bear fur as a cloak, and the bear claws are on my attached to my shoulder pads.
Okay, and would my metal bra match your shoulder pads? You would be wearing also golden armor with boobs. Okay. With boobs drawn on the
you'd have kind of like a Sisters of Battle outfit from Warhammer 40,000. So you have like these fleur de lys motifs on your boob armor.
Okay. My barmer.
Yes, as well as have a cloak, and we would both have crowns.
Okay, describe the crowns.
They'd be yours would be more like a tiara with a single spike at the front, which kind of looks a bit like the ivory tower from the Neverending Story.
Okay.
With lots of tiny little windows carved into it out of diamonds.
Wow.
I
feel important already.
Mine would be simpler, more like a circlet but with wings on the side of my head, but not like, crappy wings, more like subtly carved into it.
Like a Greek god or something?
I was thinking more Nordic inspired.
Okay.
Something more
okay.
Germanic. As for the kids, I just want them to look cute. So,
like hobbits?
So little princes. No, they'd be little princes. But maybe they'd have something like, crushed velvet, with gold and silver trimmings, and of course one of them would be in a more of a forest green, and the other in more like a deep marine blue.
Oh, they would love that.
Yes.
I know which one.
Yeah. And they'd also have little crowns, little golden crowns, and Liam would have one with an elephant head carved on it, and Ronan one with a crocodile head.
Okay. Wow. They will absolutely love that. That would be the best New Year's Eve ever.
Right.
So, your last question for me. You have written a best-selling novel about a famous and beautiful actress who develops a disease called CFD, chronic farting disorder, because she can't stop farting. No director wants to hire her anymore. She loses all of her money, her house, her husband, and her friends. But then something unexpected happens. How does the book end, and what is the title? Wow. We clearly have too many conversations with our kids.
I know, it's embarrassing. It's all about farting.
Okay.
And
okay, now I
as
can...
well as turds.
I can work with that. So she can't stop farting. No director wants to hire her anymore, and she loses all of her money.
So it's a drama.
Something unexpected happens.
Yeah, you can choose whether the book ends well or if it's tragedy.
I love a happy ending.
Yeah.
She's really depressed and she's thinking about suicide. But then the blue fairy turns up and she says, "Wow, man, you were cursed. This is a really, really heavy curse. I cannot lift it. It's beyond my magical abilities. But I can kind of make it better by making your fart smell like freshly baked bread."
Right.
So she does her spell, and from then on, her farts smell like freshly baked bread.
Oh.
And actually, the directors from future movies, they love it. And
oh man, I just know the answer to the previous question that you asked me.
Yeah?
All of a sudden. Of course, the song. It has to be "My Fart Will Go On."
Okay.
So that's the theme song of your movie, if they turn the book into a movie. Go on.
Okay. So, so directors love her again, and she gets a lot of parts with her farts. Other actors love her, they fall in love with her because of the bread smell. And it's not just freshly baked bread smell. It's not American bread. It's like really, it's European bread. It's,
classy bread.
Yeah, classy, really addictive.
Addictive, classy bread.
Yeah, so everyone wants to smell her butt, actually. So she becomes famous for it. And she earns a lot of money. She gets a lot of fake friends, but there's still some real friends involved too. And she can buy her house back. So...
Okay. And what is... okay. And what is
and she marries a baker.
Ah, yeah.
A really...
okay, that... Yeah.
A really nice one. A really handsome baker with his own European bakery. Because, we've been to America and sorry, but your breath tastes like sponge.
American bread is terrible. Sorry to say, it really is terrible.
It's like a sponge. It tastes like a sponge.
If you've lived in Europe and you know what European bread is like, American bread is just really unacceptable.
But you do have.
But we still don't have a title for your movie.
Oh, I want a title.
Or your book. Sorry, it's a book.
Oh yeah, I need a title for my book. It will not be My Fart Will Go On.
But I liked what you said about fart parts.
Or maybe Bread of Air.
Wow. Bread of Air. That sounds classy, literary. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I want it to be a serious novel.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
But it is a serious novel. I mean, CFD is really serious condition, and
yes. By the way,
it's underestimated.
It's CFD Awareness Month. If you know someone who has CFD,
yeah, we want you all to change your avatar on social media, and then write, "I am CSD." I am CFD.
Yeah, just switch CFD. Okay, now that we've covered this very important topic of CFD, I think it's time to end these questions. And before we sign off, we want to end, as usual, like last year, with our resolutions and wishes. Eileen, what is your resolution for 2023?
I've given it a lot of thought, actually, and I'm thinking growth. Like a character, you want to grow as a human being, and not an actual size, preferably. I'm okay with that. I've always been interested in personal development, and I used to attend many of these famous law of attraction, empowering, yelling conferences.
Yelling conferences.
But they just make you feel tiny and squeaky in the midst of all these confident individuals. And they can really inspire you for a couple of minutes, but then leave you lost again when you're back home. So I usually have tons of resolutions, like I have tons of story ideas. And I figured I should do with my resolutions what I do with my story ideas. Just pick one at a time and focus on that. So for 2023, I have just one resolution that I think will impact my mental and physical health in a positive way. And it was kind of inspired by The Office, actually, by the character Pam from The Office. I want to make this the year in which I learn to indicate my boundaries and start with being more assertive. And I really think our entire family will benefit from that. I want to let go of some things that are better left behind in the past and focus on everything and everyone that I'm grateful for now. No more eternal discounts for customers on top of the extra hours they demand. No more eternal patience. No more allowing people to walk over me. Just lift my shoulders, as Jordan Peterson suggests. Try to speak up so I won't depend on you anymore for artificially raising my voice in audition.
I can't always do that.
No.
I can't do that in real life.
Right. Yeah, so, and also because Ronan, our oldest son, had a bit of a problem with bullies this year. He's the smallest kid on the primary school playground. And he's always reaching out to his little brother on the other side of the benches that mark the border between the primary school children and the toddlers. So I try to give him more self-esteem, but that's very hard if you can't set a good example. So basically, he knows I'm all talk and wishful thinking when it comes to that. So he doesn't take my advice too seriously. So with you all as my accountability partners, I'm going to start working on that, and I'll let you know next year how my little project evolved and how it has perhaps impacted Ronan as well. That's my resolution for this year.
Wow.
And what's yours?
I just want to drink a lot more alcohol. No.
Even more? Man, you're gonna kill your brains out. They're gonna hear you snoring in US, you know?
Probably, yeah. I have a really hard time with these resolutions because I can't really pick one. There's so many things I have to fix about myself. But I guess they say a healthy mind in a healthy body. So I'm gonna have to start with a healthy body, and hopefully that will cure this mind of mine as well. So I'm gonna try to start eating right again.
Eat your veggies.
So that I don't get heartburn anymore, which is awful. I'm having that right now. For a while, when I was eating healthy, I didn't have that.
It is the holidays.
I used to get migraine attacks, and then when I started eating well, I didn't get those anymore. So it really does. I mean, I never want to get one of those anymore. But, you know, the type where you just have to stay in bed for 3 hours, and the only thing that helps is sleep.
Yeah, I hear that.
I get that very easily by looking into bright lights. I guess my main mental issue is focus. Focus and motivation. I need to regain some focus and drive, and I think I need a healthy body, a healthier body, a healthier lifestyle to achieve that. Mm-hmm. So it's super cliche.
Makes sense.
To put that as your New Year's resolution. I'm gonna start eating right. Boring, but I guess I guess many of my answers are cliche. Like I'm gonna pick the house in Skyrim. Yeah, I mean, it's just the obvious thing to do, and it just feels right. And yeah, sorry, that's what I'm gonna do. That's my intention.
It's a good resolution, and I wanna join you with that. Because you know, we probably we've had so many resolutions, and we find that we can always stick to them better if we join forces.
I think what I'd want is that by the end of 2023, I'm so used to eating good, healthy food that I'm no longer tempted by, you know, fatty pizzas and fast food meals.
That actually happens. That has actually happened. So that's not.
Yeah, that they lose their allure.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, that's you should make your resolutions quantifiable, right? Maybe I should do that too. But it's really hard, right? When are you more assertive?
Well, maybe every time you said something or you know did something that was a clear winner. Mm-hmm. You just you write it down. You give yourself a sticker.
I get a sticker or a stamp.
Yeah, no, you write it down. You remember it so that you afterwards the more achievements you have, the better.
One situation that I got from the office that was really specific was that when Pam ordered something and she got something else, and then she
I remember that scene.
She usually she just takes it back.
At first she just accepted it.
Yeah, she accepts it.
And then she went back.
And then she went back to say, hey, I didn't order that. I actually ordered this. And it really struck me because that's exactly what I do. If I get a wrong order, I'm just disgruntled and I do nothing.
It's a typically Flemish attitude.
Yeah.
We don't complain to anyone's faces. We complain behind everyone's back. It's actually a very unattractive trait of our people.
Or inside
but
of our
true.
minds, and it drives us crazy because we're complaining in our minds all the time.
It's really a Flemish thing.
It is.
I think it comes from our history of always being oppressed by some other nation for, centuries upon centuries upon. We've been governed by the French, the Spanish. Everyone got a taste of us.
Maybe the Russians in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, that might actually happen. So so everyone's sort of ruled over us, and I guess we learned to cope with that by grumbling and complaining behind their backs.
Yeah, I guess. I don't want to do that anymore. But
no, it's really pathetic.
I feel rude very easily, and that's kind of a problem. I guess in the Netherlands they have less of a problem with that.
It's funny. It's like you cross the
their
border
minds.
like 10 miles from here, and it's a completely different attitude that people have.
It's true. Yeah.
The Dutch are they're really outspoken. They give their opinion on everything and anything, whether you want it or not. Actually, there's a Dutch lady who lives across from us.
She knows the difference
Yeah.
between the cultures, but she reckons with it. It's kind of cute. So she will say things like, be honest, okay?
Don't be Belgian about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I heard that what we have, we Belgians, we Flemish, and the Dutch, the sort of relationship that we have is very similar to what Australians and New Zealanders have.
Really? Oh.
And I guess
I wouldn't know.
Americans and Canadians
I'm
kind of
not
like that
sure.
too, I think. They kind of, what I mean is like they sort of mock each other, but they also kind of like each other,
Something like that, yeah.
And there's a bit of rivalry, but there's also, it's kind of friendly rivalry, I guess, or frenemies. I don't know. Right? Isn't it kind of like that?
I guess so, yeah.
We make jokes. We make jokes about the Dutch. They make jokes about us. We joke that they're cheapskates, which they are, and they joke that we're dumb, which obviously we're not. But whatever. They need to imagine something to joke about too. So.
Well, we're grumpy and behind the back. And,
that's true. Yeah, that is true.
Well, we try not to be. We're kind of like the Baggins, and they're like the Tooks.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But we should join forces, and we could be a great nation of two tiny countries joining forces.
Yeah, there's something to that. Hey, the Dutch are they're well known around the world.
They have Viking blood, probably.
For their caravans, and they used to have this whole trading company everywhere, and they used to have pirates, right? Dutch pirates, pretty well known back in the day, right? Whatever.
And they have Flying Dutchmen.
Yeah, exactly. Pirate ship, the Flying Dutchman.
Okay, so enough about the Dutch.
Yeah.
They're flatlanders.
Yes, that's true. But that's for our next episode, the making of the treasure of Boneyard Bay.
Yeah. So at the end of this podcast, we honor yet another shrewd tradition. The Groot tradition, by sharing our specific wishes for you in 2023. It is 3, right? I'm not losing count here. Mm-hmm. They are specific because we think it's lazy to say, I wish you everything you desire for 2023.
Yeah, and besides, what if you desire, like cigarettes or something?
Yeah, or something perverse or something. Yeah.
No. We're not having any of that.
No, that's besides that, that's like saying I'll have whatever she's having or something. Anyway, Your wants are not always your needs. So here goes. My Christmas wishes for you in 5 words are love, truth, mildness, adventure, and guts. Whether you want it or not, you'll get it.
And I'll continue the Groot tradition with my 5 words, just like last year. If you listened to the storytelling holiday special podcast, then this is what I wish for you in 2023.
In 5 words?
The Wizard of the Woods.
Ha 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 ha.
Have yourselves a merry little, well, it's not Christmas anymore, but time between Christmas and New Year's.
Hey, Christmas time's still here.
Yeah, it's still Christmas time. Actually,
Yeah.
the Christmas season begins at Christmas.
So yeah, Christmas time, or a merry little Christmas, or a big one with a giant turkey,
or a Pippin little Christmas. That was lame. Sorry.
No, you can have a huge Christmas with a giant turkey and lots of eggnog, or whichever you prefer, or maybe a big New Year's Eve party.
Eggnog, is that an American thing? Because we always see it in American movies, but we don't really have it, so we don't really know what it is.
I tasted it in Canada, but it was It was in this carton, so I imagine it will taste a lot different when you actually make it yourself. But it was kind of tasty. It reminded me of what we have here. We have advocaat, which is it looks like very yellow pudding. It's egg-based and it's got
quite a bit of alcohol.
Yeah, it has a lot of alcohol in it. But I think eggnog is slightly more creamy colored and it's more liquidy. So I imagine it will taste
and probably not
like
as
that.
alcohol laden.
Perhaps not, however. I think I've heard in some movies that someone drank too much eggnog or something. Maybe some of them are spiked or not.
I guess
have no
we'll
idea.
have to do our research.
I guess you can enlighten us if you made eggnog. Tell us, give us your recipe. We can perhaps make it for New Year's. Because we'll be celebrating New Year's Eve, just 4 of us. Perhaps watching movies, playing games, and just having a good time.
Yep. And we wish you all a happy New Year. Oh, yes, we have to end on a quote.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.